Is Muhammad Yunus a Democrat, or is he in fact an autocrat in disguise? This question is being asked because of this startling fact. In the newly formed interim government in Bangladesh, Muhammad Yunus has kept 27 portfolios to himself. Yes, you heard that right, 27 portfolios. And these are not just any positions, by the way. They are the heart and soul of the country's administration, key portfolios. We are talking about the Ministry of Defense, Transport, Food, Housing, Land, Textiles and Jute, Agriculture, Railways, Power, Commerce. These are the ministries that control the economic lifeline, the social fabric, and the very infrastructure of Bangladesh. If this does not scream absolute power, what does? That's the question being asked. You see, Yunus has always been a figure who commands respect on the global stage. Remember, he is known as the banker of the poor. He is a Nobel Peace Prize winner. But what should the people of Bangladesh make of his actions at home? When he returned to the country, he spoke of a new dawn, of a rebirth for Bangladesh. But what do his latest moves actually tell us? Is this concentration of power a sign of democratic rebirth? Or is it the beginning of autocratic rule? Is this how Yunus plans to repay the trust of millions of Bangladeshis? By hoarding power? Can Bangladesh truly place its trust in a leader who appears to be consolidating power in such a manner? Or should the people be deeply concerned about the future of their democracy? You see, it's not a question of trust alone, but one of vigilance. Bangladeshis cannot just take him or the interim government's moves at face value. They would need to scrutinize every decision they make. After all, this interim government was not chosen by the people. And very crucially, none of them have any prior experience of running a cabinet. This government was installed by a group of students with the military lurking in the background. Is this the kind of democracy that Bangladesh has fought for, bled for, and longed for? This could just be the beginning of another chapter of instability and conflict in Bangladesh. The people have seen this before, the promises, the power grabs, the chaos. How different is this from the autocratic tendencies that Bangladesh has fought so hard to escape? Let's just turn our attention to the rest of the interim government now. The 17-member advisory council, sworn in during a ceremony attended by diplomats, businessmen, politicians on Thursday. It's a mixed bag, to say the least. Civil society representatives, environmentalists, former bureaucrats, and key figures from the student movement that ousted Sheikh Hasina are all part of this new regime. But that's not all. As per reports, 7 members lean towards the Bangladesh Nationalist Party, or BNP, or Jamaat-e-Islami. Brigadier General retired M. Sakhavat Hossain, who once called Hasina a classic autocrat, is a prominent figure in this new government. He holds the Home Affairs portfolio. Then there is AFM Khalid Hossain, an Islamic scholar with ties to the far right, Hifazat-e-Islam Bangladesh, and Farooq-e-Azam, a retired naval commando and freedom fighter. All 3 are reportedly Jamaat-leaning. On the BNP-leaning side, we have Dr. Nazrul Islam, who has been often linked to the BNP and was reportedly involved in discussions with the Bangladesh army before Hasina's resignation. Adilur Rehman Khan, another figure with ties to the BNP, has a controversial past, having been convicted for spreading false information about a government operation against Hifazat-e-Islam members. And then there is Noor Jahan Begum, a close associate of Yunus, who has served as the managing director of Grameen Bank. The question is her inclusion a sign of Yunus's desire for continuity, or a warning that he plans to run this government like a business, with him as the CEO and the people as mere shareholders? And the bigger question remains, what kind of government is this really? Is it a coalition of those brought together by an unusual situation to restore order and rebuild the country? Or is it compiled together to give the illusion of democracy, while real power remains concentrated in the hands of one man? Nobody knows whether this interim government is likely to rule far beyond the constitutionally mandated 3-month period. But will the opposition and the politicians who have been sidelined actually let this happen without a fight? Will former Prime Minister Khaleda Zia, who has spent the last 4 years under house arrest, sit idly by while Yunus consolidates power like this? Or would she not see an opportunity to return to power and reshape the future of Bangladesh? Zia has already called for early elections, a demand echoed by her son, Tariq Rahman, the vice chairman of BNP, who is pushing for a transfer of power to a democratic government. The Awami League may also not be out of the picture. Sheikh Hasina's son, Sajib Wazid Joy, has made it clear that the party is ready to negotiate, that they are prepared to hold talks with the opposition, and that his mother is ready to return to Bangladesh whenever the announcement of fresh elections is made. Listen in, actually, to what he said exclusively to WION.
Reorganized the Awami League, reactivated them so that now they are safeguarding themselves. Situation, it's not as bad as it was yesterday, but it's still a complete state of anarchy. There is looting, rioting, and looting going on throughout the country in all the cities. A few days she was in shock. She was very upset. She was very disappointed with the people of Bangladesh. But now she's in a better mood. Her spirits are up. She's much more determined to fight for her party. She has been in touch with many of our party leaders, so she's now back in leadership mode.
So will Yunus, with his 27 portfolios, actually heed these calls? Or is this just a prelude to further entrenchment, where power is held tightly in the hands of a select few, while the masses are left to fend for themselves? The stakes could not be higher. Bangladesh's political landscape has always been unpredictable, and this moment is no exception. We have seen alliances form and crumble, promises made and broken, leaders rise and fall. The students who have backed this interim government may be filled with hope, but hope alone does not rebuild an economy. It does not restore law and order. So how long can this interim government last before it faces its first major test? Will it come from the opposition or from the people? And when that test arrives, will the government crumble or will it dig in its heels, leading the country down a path of further conflict? We don't know the answers, but one thing is absolutely clear. Bangladesh's political future remains uncertain, and we will have to wait and watch in the coming days, weeks, and perhaps months whether this new government is truly transparent and apolitical, or is this just a facade, a smoke screen to keep the people distracted while real power is being amassed behind closed doors? Can this interim government ensure democracy returns to Bangladesh with a fair and free election? To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.